Hello, everyone, and it's Thursday one more time. So, welcome to my talk show, Guilty by My Own Desires. And today I have an amazing musician. His name is Ronnie King, and so he is with us today, all the way from Costa Rica. So, I'm going to welcome him into the studio. Ronnie, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How's it sounding? I'm in the middle of the jungle right now.
Well, you do have an amazing connection to be in the middle of the jungle, Ronnie. And so,
Oh,
um,
good, good. It
yeah,
must be. I
well,
have 20 monkeys on a wheel creating the internet.
you know what? I want to give a brief introduction about you to our audience. You've been nominated to the Grammy, to the Oscars. You will have several years of experience as a music composer, arranger. I mean, you have done it pretty much all, in different stages. And I really appreciate that you come here into the show and take some of your time. And so I want to start from the beginning. What is your story? How did you start into music?
Well, I come from a family of seven very prolific musicians. My parents both played music. My dad's family came to the west coast of California from Fort Smith, Arkansas, and they came with the Dust Bowl era, and that migration for them was captured in the movie The Grapes of Wrath. And then my mother's side, her father used to play trumpet with Harry James Big Band. So I'm the second to the youngest in seven kids. And so I've had music in my life since I was just a baby, really.
So for you, having seven brothers and living in an environment on music, how did you know that your passion was music? Because one thing is that you're born into a family of musicians, but the other thing is to take the decision and go and follow your dream of music. How did you recognize that that was your path?
Yeah. Well, I at a very young age, my brother John started me playing. Well, I was playing piano from very young, and I had many great mentors. A gentleman named John Buccino, who has gone off to New York years ago and is an amazing composer. So I had one guy who was teaching me how to write music, and another guy, Scott Smith, who was showing me how to be technically sound, let's say, as a very young kid. And then I've studied my whole life. I started studying Berkeley theory in ninth grade when I was in high school. Berkeley brought a division of their jazz theory course to a junior college, and nobody signed up for it. So my band teacher said, "You got to do that." So that was where I really gained a lot of knowledge in reading and writing music, all that. And I was basically done with Berkeley theory by the time I got out of high school. So, um, my brother John started me playing in nightclubs and stuff, and I would have to literally play on the bandstand. This is when I was about 16. I was still in high school, and they had to get a notice signed by the government and teachers and everything that said, yeah, it's okay if he plays, right? Well, nobody told them that the times playing were going to be from 9 at night to like 1:30 in the morning in a club. So I would play at night in the nightclubs, and it just didn't fit for me. I didn't like playing that long. I enjoyed playing all the different songs, which gave me a real sense of learning a lot of different songs. But I was studying in the day too, and I love the classical music, I think, more. So I decided with my two brothers, we decided to move to Los Angeles. And when I got there, I got picked up from a manager named Jerry Heller and Maury.
And we have a pause. I will remind all the audience right now that Ronnie King is in a jungle in Costa Rica, and so that internet connection, it can be a little bit tricky. But Ronnie, are you still with us? Let's see. We're just gonna give him some time. So again, I will remind the audience that I'm with guest Ronnie Kim. He's a music composer and arranger. He has several years in the industry. He has been nominated to the Oscar, to the Grammys, and well, he is very versatile musician, and his story is just full of. Wonder and a beautiful journey. And I'm going to see if we can reconnect with Ronnie. So I'm gonna get some minutes here. But if you have any questions, I got him back.
Sorry, I am so
Hey, no
sorry.
worries.
My
It's,
monkeys decided to go and get a bite to eat. So I was finishing up with the fact that when I moved to Los Angeles in 1990, I met a very powerful manager named Jerry Heller. He was managing NWA at the time. And they saw my talent as being very prolific in the studio. So I started basically just being a studio guy for many years in the hip hop. That's how I got into hip hop, really. And that was my thing. And I'm like, I love the studio work way better than playing all night. And you get home at 3 in the morning. So it was just a different lifestyle, and I like that one a lot better.
well, Ronnie, thank you for sharing. You are in the talk show "Guilty by My Own Desires," and I would like to know what was some like. Do you felt guilty about pursuing some of the things that you wanted when you were in the road with your career growing?
Well, it was interesting because I still don't think my parents know what I do, right? I'm like, I'm in the music business. I write and I make, I gave my mom one of my first platinum records, and she goes, like, what is this? And what is it? I'm like, hey, it was with Kid Frost and Mr. Mix from Two Live Crew. We did a soundtrack for the Crow soundtrack with Brandon Lee. And I said, well, this is when you sell 1 million records. That's what it is. And she goes, well, how do you make money? It was all about like, she knew that if I went to a club night after night, I would make money performing, right? So eventually, I did feel a little guilty about that because no one knew what it is that I did. And then a lot of my friends that were in the bar business type of thing, which is an awesome career, um, they would always want me to try to further their careers and stuff because they saw I was in the record business. And it's a little tougher than that, just you have to really have like you say, a guilty desire to perform and to play the game of the business of music. So
Well,
I
I
ended
think
up
that
doing that. And the
what
rest of
you mentioned about pursuing, you was doing the bands and the clubs and going all the way until one in the morning. But your decision, you took a path, you took a decision that I want to study more, I want to prepare myself more, and that's what the doors open. You was not close to one setup of this is what I'm going to do. And so I believe that later on, perhaps some of your challenges was going back to your friends in the club, and they wanted to kind of tell us what is the key of success, right? But there is a lot of
yeah,
work
that
in
that
the
that
road.
yes, that was kind of interesting because when I moved to LA, I wasn't, I mean, it took me a couple of years to finally meet Jerry Heller and them. And once I met them, I started, making some money and be able to survive in LA. But those 2 years, I was, we were on Venice Boulevard, playing
I
with
want
the
to know
little,
about those two
tape
years.
machine or whatever
I,
we
I
had.
think if you would like to share
Oh,
with us what it was for you before you met this manager that kind of helped your career to, for you to keep evolving as an artist. But I think that people should know, especially our audience at Heart of Hollywood, how was those years? They were tough. What did what were your challenges there?
well, the thing is I was, I left a career where I would make, let's say I'd make a couple $100 a night playing in the clubs, right? So you play 5 nights a week, you know, I'm making $1,000 a week, $4,000 a month, and I was like, hey, I could totally live on that. But I was just where my guilty desire definitely was, as I started going back to the desert where I came and kind of was like trying to ping pong back and forth between when it was down in the studio and there wasn't records or people were touring and maybe I wasn't getting the calls. And even before I met Jerry, it was like, so I would go back and forth. And that was the hardest thing because I would be going back to something I really didn't like, but I was doing it for the money. And then at some point, I think it was like a 3 day stretch. I swear to God, I think I was just in a dark room in the shower. That was the thing. And I was just sitting there trying to go, I can't continually do this. I can't ping pong back and forth. So at one point I said I'm not going to do it anymore and I'm just going to stay in Hollywood and I'm just going to meet the people, and I really put a lot of prayer and just commitment to it, and I guess the rest is kind of history. Yeah.
Well, at this point, you didn't have any income for your club's gigs either, right? So it's very interesting what you did. So before
Yeah.
this, during this time, and then later you met the manager, and then what happened after you met the manager?
Oh well, once I met Jerry Heller, my hip hop career was amazing. One of the first records I did, was with Kid Frost and Mr. Mix from Two Live Crew, and then I was very proficient. I had like total recall because they 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 showed me in college how to basically listen to a song and be able to recreate it and write the music like immediately, because you theoretically know how the song's going. So when I got into the studios, they would give me songs and say, hey, we want you to flip this song. We don't want to use the original. We want to make it our own and da da da. So that's what I really did in the studio with the hip hop world. I worked with Tony G, Julio G, Fred Wreck, Battle Cat, so many huge producers. Now they were just coming up, so we all came up together, and then I went on tour with a kid named Timmy T. He had a #1 song in the country, and I went on tour with him and my moving kind of quickly, of course. He's like, you got to get out of this hip hop music, man. It's never going to go anywhere. I've got this guy. I want you to meet Jack Grisham from TSOL, which is a punk band in Orange County. And I went and met him. And when I got there, I had all the songs together and everything. He's like, you're playing in the band. You're great. So we spent 5 years getting record deals in Los Angeles, major record deals. For the next really 5 to 8 years, and we toured together as a punk band. And then when I wasn't touring, I would go back to the studios. So I'd go back and I went to work at Death Row for many years with a great Latin producer, Johnny J. And we made lots and lots of Tupac records, Busy Bone. I mean, the list kind of goes on with the hip hop career. But what we did is I would, like I say, go back and forth and back and forth. And then that's kind of how my career's been ever since.
What is what you like the most about your career and being film composer also, because you got into films as well and now, so
I
how
sure did.
is
Hey, is this? Oh, there we go. Look at that.
that's perfect. And
I
I
put
will
my.
remind the
Is that?
I will remind the audience that Ronnie King is in Costa Rica right now in the middle of the jungle. Is the reason why he's there. And I think that you are going to disclose some of that in a little bit, but continue. I will let you answer the question about it, what was the transition now that you are doing at the moment?
Oh well, I got a couple really neat things. So I'm pretty much embedded in these two genres of music. I still do hip hop music, and I still do a lot of rock records. A couple years ago, about 4 years ago, I started. Well, no, not 4 years ago. Actually, it was 15 years ago with a band called Pepper, And I call it white boy reggae, or we can call it the new reggae or whatnot. So I started recording with them and touring with them all these years. But in the last 5 years, I'll say that genre of music has really gotten very popular. So we've been writing a lot of records with them. Um, my friends in Steel Pulse, which is a fantastic reggae band, they're many Grammys to their name. They are very well-known reggae band, asked me to come play on their last record 2 years ago, and we had a #1 Billboard uh, record album, and we got nominated for a Grammy. Not this year, but the year before. And so I'm really embedded right now, deeply in the reggae scene, and having that accomplishment with the guys really just kind of got me pumped back up to do more in the music business. I have an orchestra from Kiev, um, from a little town called Lviv, and I'm doing a kind of a David Foster type of record where I have a 100-piece orchestra playing all of my songs, and I'm having different lead singers sing on my songs. I'm working with Salas, who is a very fabulous Latin singer.
Yes.
Latoya London from
Malicela Ibarra.
yeah, Maricela. Oh, she's fan. She was right before I came to
Yes.
Costa Rica. She came to the house for a couple days, and we're coming up with some fantastic new music for her. Really, I feel. And I have Latoya London on it, and then I'm gonna have a lot of my other friends, John B. A lot of my singer friends will sing my songs, kind of like what David Foster does when he sings with Celine Dion, and you know maybe you've seen the that stuff going on. So it's very much like that.
Well,
Um,
I'm very happy for you, Ronnie, because you're doing several projects. I'm sure that you have to have a very good time management to do all these things. But also, I want to share with the audience that you are an amazing pianist. Okay, and I
oh,
had the fortune to hear some of your music, and it just blew my mind how you can put all those pieces together. And I would like to ask you, would you mind to share like your process of creation and what other instruments do you play?
oh, okay. Well, like I said, studying Berkeley theory, theoretically, I can play any instrument, right? Because I can like sit there with the instrument and figure out the tonality of the instrument. Of course, piano is my love. I'm very committed to playing the grand piano on everything I can. Of course, when I'm touring, I'm back on the keyboards, but I'm trying to really establish myself playing the piano because that's my first love. I feel that I can put that tonality on a lot of the records I'm doing. Of course, the hip hop I had lots of piano on it, and in the punk rock world, I put a lot of piano on punk rock songs, and it was really kind of something special. When I was with the Offspring, I played on a bunch of songs with them, and that's what they always wanted to have on their records was a lot of the piano. So um, I guess my process is just the love for the piano and just trying to implement that in as many different scenarios as I can.
Well, I would love to hear the your music into more films, Ronnie. I really are looking
Oh
forward
yeah,
to
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I music supervised on a movie a couple of years ago with Danny Trejo and Lorenzo Lamas, The Renegade. And the producers called me up and they're like, Ronnie, this soundtrack's got to be done in like 2 weeks, and I just put all my best guys on it, and I really had a ball, and it kind of came easy to me because I had I tell you, a great team and great people to just allow you to do what you do creatively, and then have the team to clean you up. Um, has just been fantastic. I mean, I'm very very thankful for the people around me, and I'm excited to bring the orchestra from Lviv in the Ukraine is where my orchestra is. and tour with them and really have them play the songs that I wrote, because they normally play just a lot of classical music and they love the pop songs. So it's like I'm just trying to bridge gaps. I'm here in Costa Rica. I've been coming to Costa Rica for about 12 years, and I have property here in Tamarindo. I love to surf, so I can surf all year round. But
So tell us,
I've
what
worked
are
with,
you
yeah,
doing there in Costa Rica? Can we share a little bit about
yeah. So I'm
the
doing,
studio?
yeah, yeah. I'm surfing a lot, but I put a recording studio here, and I put it in my partner's big yoga studio. So when I come, I put all the equipment in there, and I record the local guys and the surfer dudes that play music. And it started like that. And I initially started recording in a tree house in the middle of the jungles with the monkeys, and I was like, this is a cool environment. So I'm building, as we speak, a real professional recording studio. I'm really working on it being regenerative. I am the Goodwill ambassador for a big university here in Costa Rica called UCI, headed up by Dr. Edward Mueller, who is a regenerative farming scientist. I got to see him last night, and he brought us over fresh fruit and vegetables that were literally grown in 3 weeks because they used the compost from the original ground, no pesticides. It's all regenerative. And that's how I feel about my music, is I'm regenerating myself, and it's regenerating other people. I've had the great opportunity, I'll go real quick. Being in Costa Rica, I've got to work with the biggest celebrities in the country. And that happened from just a dinner meeting with this one guy. And he put me with so many people, and I'm trying to bring them to the States, and I'm trying to bring music to here, so that, we can just kind of be one world, is what I'm thinking.
Well, Ronnie, I had to ask you, like, do you have any projects that you're working on, like at the moment?
Yes, I'm well, like I said before, I'm working with Maricela on her new record, which I'm very committed and very focused on. I we are not doing the orchestra music on hers, but we are doing something very special because she has such an amazing fan base. And of course, I want to play the grand piano on ballad songs because she sings just so fantastic. And but we're kind of going a little bit more club. We're going a little different for her, kind of bringing it into the 2021. And yeah, so that's one of my favorite records I'm doing right now. I'm going back in the studio with Steel Pulse to do some more music. And I am also working with Pepper. We're putting out so many records, and Kaleo Wassman, the singer from Pepper, and I started a group called the Naughty Dawn, which we've been releasing songs. Um, and they're doing very well. I mean, they're we're I it's just so amazing how it's working these days. But
Well, I
they're the Naughty
know,
Dawn, so we're excited to get back out on tour.
Ronnie, I know that you're working in a documentary, and I love documentaries. Can we share something about
Yes.
that? Because I think there is it's going to be huge, and
Oh, it's
for the
so huge. Yeah.
perspective of music and everything that you are going to share, I mean, do you mind sharing a
Yeah.
little bit about that project to the
No.
audience?
No. No. I don't. I don't. Well, I'm getting together some of my favorite buddy pals, and we're gonna tour all around Costa Rica. We're not asking for anything from anybody. We're not doing like concerts for money or anything. What we're going to do is we're going to go into all of these little towns and villages, and we have many sponsors, and we will be giving away musical instruments to the villages and to the kids and showing them how to play songs. And then we're going to be doing, obviously, a lot of press, because the guys that I'll tell you that are going to be with me they're famous. I'm not. I just maybe have a good
I'm sure
personality.
they're famous.
They are. They're fun. and we've all done
Well, like
records
you are
together.
famous, so.
Ah, well,
Oh yes.
I've got Keno from Big Mountain. You remember? Ooh, baby, I love your way every day. Don't the reggae.
Don't make me
That's
dance here.
right. And he speaks perfect Spanish, of course. I have
Mhm.
Peter Dante, the actor, who's doing amazing things in his reggae career right now. So Peter Dante was in so many movies. Grandma's Boy. I mean, he's like Adam Sandler's right hand dude. He's the funny guy. So he'll keep us in stitches. I have David Electri from Steel Pulse going to be playing guitar with us. We're adding Kaleo Wassman from Pepper going to be with us, and we have a very special drummer, John Robinson, who has played with Shaka Khan. I mean, he's a fantastic guy. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a bus and we're gonna go tour and surf. And at the end of the night, we're just gonna walk into some like bar and we're gonna just play and sing for the people and give away instruments and just share a lot of love. I sit on 3 boards here in Costa Rica. I sit on the UCI University Board of Directors. I sit on a global chapter called oh, Earth
So many
Farmers and
things, but
Starvers.
I'm sharing your website so people can contact you.
Oh, okay, yeah. Earth
You know,
Starters is fantastic. Yeah. And then I sit on the global advisory board for Boston University. It's Emerson College. So we're all working together academically, regeneratively, and we're just going to share music with as many people as we can here in Costa Rica. And we're going to document it and we're going to sell it to Netflix, basically.
well, I have to tell you all about the new Heart of Hollywood Cinema when you get to the point of distribution, because I would love to have that film. I know that it will be an amazing
Yeah.
film, you know, and the audience, I can't wait. I can't wait to see the film. I mean, just to all the all the artists are gonna get involved into this documentary. You are going to be, you know,
Yeah.
part of the documentary as a producer and multitasking, and you're gonna wear many hats of what's going to happen. So I think
Hey,
that
how you like this? You like
oh,
this, honey?
I love it. I love it. You know. So I
Music
think
cares. Support music cares.
you know what is the moment that you get the Oscar, I guess. You know, in the
I
Grammy
know.
for sure
You know,
because.
yeah, when we were sitting there and it's like, and the winner is not Steel Pulse. We were like, ah, you freaking. They hadn't made a record in 15 years, but it's politics.
Well, how
And when
did
I
you
was sitting there,
feel? You know, yes, you're right. You
oh,
know, so you were
all
nominated to the
emotion.
Oscars, and then you were there.
Yeah.
And tell us experience. How did you feel? What was going
Well,
through your mind?
yeah, that was great. That was when I was with Tupac Shakur and I was sitting with. We were all sitting together, Johnny J, and all of us were sitting there, and we were getting the award for best documentary, Tupac Resurrection, and it was the same thing. And the winner is somebody else, and it was just like, oh man, you just sit there and go, oh, okay, well, hey, and you know what? It's so funny because a lot of the new artists today are like, oh, I'm gonna boycott the Grammys and all that. We're like, good, boycott let's boycott your radio career too, you know. But anyways,
Well,
I support. No, I support the Grammy Association. They're fantastic. Billboard magazine. These are the people that really put our music out there and help us shine.
well, I do support all these associations as well because I think that I share the mutual feeling about that because sometimes, you know, when they, let's say, criticize, but they don't take action into doing something, let's say you are not okay with not having more diversity, well, and then become a producer, start making something, do
Yeah.
something, take some action, you know, you may, perhaps don't like not very good fan of the Grammys. Well, let's start your own company and you know try
There you
to
go.
get more artists. I mean, why is always this thing with artists? Because at the beginning, the Grammys, they were started like from zero, like in any other company, right? But and then, the things grow, then
Yeah,
they
once they
became
get
kind of
there,
like
yeah.
famous. And so there is a lot of things that happen in the industry. They also, I think that as a talent, we should recognize. So for me, it's all about
Yeah.
taking action. Like for you, like you are going to do this documentary and gonna give like instruments to children in Costa Rica that they needed. Probably they
Yeah.
didn't have the funds or the capitals to buy an instrument. I mean, every life that you touch with all the artists doing this is going to be so impactful, because perhaps the kid, they never have an instrument in their life, and once they touch that, once they hear it, this can be something for joy, for the simple fact of having joy, of to having, a thought about the future. Perhaps if they like it, they don't have to become musicians, but just the energy and the positive thing that is creating about it. There's an ecosystem helping life, helping us as a human beings to move forward, and so I really applaud what you're doing, Ronnie, because this is from the perspective or like a humanitarian. Also,
Yeah.
what you're doing, with your career and sharing your art, you're going out of your way of being talented and very prolific a musician, to also share that love and passion that you have for music and the business to other people
Yeah.
internationally. And for me, as a foreigner, being from another country and seeing different aspects of life, I mean, what do you see when you're in Costa Rica? Tell us, what do you see? Tell us about the people that you're meeting, who you're working at, like for,
Yeah.
because some of the people here in the audience at Hollywood, especially here in America, maybe they're curious about that.
Yeah. Well, Costa Rica is where I personally regenerate. I get time to be with myself. I was literally at 5 o'clock today, usually when the monkeys come out. And right now, I'm staying in a tree house that my buddy built because we're building the studio and we're building our home here. So he's like, why don't you come stay at the treehouse? And I was like, yeah. He goes, the monkeys come every night and they jump on the roof. And I was just sitting up there and I was like, man, that just blows my mind when you really look at them and how they navigate, their life. And monkeys jump from tree to tree. They don't jump on the ground and then go to another tree. They just somehow figure out how to take a little branch, and so I kind of felt that way about myself in a way. As long as you give me a little branch to jump over and get on a bigger branch, it's like, so you have to respect not only the tree or the people getting you over. And then once you get over, then you can pull somebody else over. And so I learned so much about life being out here, and I really do regenerate. And the country's getting better, internet's getting better. Um, the
Well, we can
people are
see the
nice.
internet is getting better for sure. But tell us.
Oh, 12 years ago. Yeah, 12 years ago, no internet. But the cool thing is the people, and I come, it's like I come home, and I come home to people that welcome me, in our business, man, and doing things, and trying to keep a business running even in these times and in any time. There's a lot of negotiation, there's a lot of doubt, there's a lot of fear, there's just like all these other emotions that come into play, obviously, that makes you successful. But when I come here, it's like pura vida, man. Just, how's it going? Sit down here, make some food. And they're the most gorgeous, happy people. And my surfer buddies are fantastic. I mean, we just get out in the water and,
Yeah, Costa Rica.
man, beautiful. And we're gonna, I hopefully through me we will see more artists. My good friend Devi Nova was just up for a Grammy this year with her record 33 and a third. She's from Costa Rica. She's on Sony Latin, and she's paving the way for these kids to go, you know what, we can get there. Many Miss Universes and stuff have been from here. The city itself is getting very international. The country is getting very international. People are like kind of going, you know what? I want to live in a country that's like there's no army, right? So nobody's gonna bomb Costa Rica. You know what I mean? They don't have an army.
Mhm.
It's not even a
Yes,
clean fight.
absolutely. Well, I can feel your joy being from there. I wish I was there also, and it like that importance of regenerating. I think you're regenerating our lives, where we are, our path, where we're going, and the vision that we want to achieve. I think it's very important, not in our daily lives. And I wanted to ask you this because we had a previous conversation um, um, not long ago about your business start like blooming with this pandemic. And instead of you keep it quiet, and I mean you was in lockdown, but I would like that perhaps by sharing a little bit of what you did during the COVID, other people get
Yeah.
excited, because a lot of people is in depressed mode or still thinking, like you saying, there is worry, there is stress, there is frustration. But tell
Yeah.
us what you did, because during this time, your company is just blooming all over.
Yeah. Well, first off, everybody's sitting on the computer. So what are they going to do? They're going to watch videos, they're going to listen to music. And thank God I've been with a lot of great artists. So it's not even coming from one place. I feel like it's a shotgun blast, right? So it's like the punk rock and all that is just like, people that like that kind of music are for the last year been sitting looking at old videos, looking at old concerts, yada yada. And then all the music that we've done in the past, I mean, I was just sitting there like this is, people are on the internet. So and at that point, then it was like, oh, okay, we're in a whole different ball game now. Everything is on the internet. Yeah, we're still going to tour live, but our communication skills have to become better on the internet because we have to communicate through this. So we have to
Hi.
somehow be able to make. Yeah, I mean, that's what you do. You've created the platform for all of us to share our emotions and our personalities, to giving us a template to say, hey man, look me up, or hey, you want to talk about music, or you want to talk about the movies, or so that was fantastic. And then with other artists being in lockdown, they would say, hey, Ronnie King, we need you to put keyboards on this song. Hey, I know you got some cool keyboards at your studio, right? I'm like, well, let's get together. And they're like, dude, it's a pandemic. Ain't nobody's going anywhere. And then I was like, yeah, I have a ranch out in Coachella, by Coachella, Thermal, actually. And I was like, you know what? Way funner out here. So a lot of the artists would then therefore send me their, files, and I would put my music on. And so it was that. And then we would do co-writing. And I mean, we just did everything like usual, but it seemed as though I did more. Like I could do 10 sessions in a day because everybody's just sitting around. So they'd be like, hey, Ronnie King, put a couple lines on this song. And then we're sitting there. I put a couple lines on the songs. And then they're like, okay, that's all I need for right now. Hey, I'll hit you up tomorrow. So we produced records. It was a longer period, but you could do more. So it'd be like, yeah, you'd be on the phone with the guys for a couple hours, and then you'd be like, hey, I'm pumped up. I want to keep working. And then you just kind of, you set up your
Yeah,
day.
absolutely. I think that is the same thing that you're telling. That's the same thing they experienced. But let's face it also, that not everyone did what you did. Some of
Yeah.
the artists didn't move forward. Perhaps they don't have moral support by their own selves or by the manager or things like that, and then just was waiting, and 1 year passed very quickly. So you have to react, and I think that what you took is, again, you took action and a start, because okay, what are you going to do with the tour? You're not touring anymore, but you decided to call out the artists, to copyright, like co-writing,
Yeah.
making music, saving the digital files and all that stuff. So life, I think that this is a sample of what you did, that life doesn't stop. We are the ones that stop. We are the ones that take the decision and the power of our own thoughts of what is our world. And I think that through the pandemic, I went through many musicians. I didn't even know their names because I mean, what you can do. I was looking for sharing to the Hollywood audience, to my members. I was looking for videos, sharing everyone for musicians, and you also are a very versatile artist. I know that you do hip hop, you do the classic music, and also, but. Do you do also a DJ stuff as well? I don't know that
No.
for sure because I see you a
Yeah,
lot
no.
going to Ibiza. So I
Oh,
don't know what you do there.
all my well, it's kind of the same thing. It's like, when you're hanging out with the best DJs in the world, you're like, well, I'm not going to start DJing now. But hey, I love the process of like what we're doing with Maricella's new record is I'm writing the record with her in the traditional way, on the piano, with just the piano and the voice, right? And then the DJs come, or I send them the files, and then they put their DJ, they put
Touch
their
the DJ.
specialty on it. It's fantastic. It really is. I mean, I have nothing but jeez, I don't even know the word for in awe of how DJs are manipulating the sonics of our records and our audio today. It's fantastic when you're looking at YouTube videos. You're like, how did they do that? Or like TikTok. I mean, sometimes, well, it's weird, but I followed this girl on TikTok and then I met her live and I was just like, oh, you're way too filtered, babe. You know. You put a lot of filters on your look and stuff.
Well, Ronnie,
But
you don't have any filter right now, right?
no, I don't. Hey, I'm out here with a flashlight in the middle of the jungle, sitting next to our beautiful pool.
I see that.
And
Yeah.
yeah, we're not yeah. No, you know what we do? Is we have artesia wells here. It's really cool. But we take the water, we get the water from the ground, and we're doing solar. We're doing total regeneration living out here, and it's amazing. I was just talking to one of our guys,
Mhm.
and he's like, "Man, I mean, I'm like, yeah, the studio has got to be regenerative, and I've got to figure out a way to get enough power in that thing so that we could be we have there's yeah, where we're at is amazing. No, I mean, it's in the middle of the jungle, really. And so we're going to build the studio totally regenerative. What do they say? They say if you tear down one tree, plant three. You know what I mean? That's kind of the idea of the thing, to make the little parts, or find a place where dead trees are. And that's where that's so we're very conscious. We want to be very nature friendly, and we all are. I mean, it's a life's work for me. And we're going to do that through music. We're going to do it through living. We're going to do it through farming. We're going to hopefully bring that to the United States to let them know that, man, we don't need all this power, you know.
Well, I think that we have to have a more social responsibility, with the environment and everything that we need to live, because otherwise we're not gonna end up with something that can be turned not very good.
Well, yeah. Yeah, and you're putting a good stamp. A lot of hey, all my friends are getting into yoga and starting yoga studios, and us, I just watched that movie One Night in Miami. with I had Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, and so they all got together after a big fight or whatever, and they all sat there and said, "Man, what are we gonna do? Let's think about how we're gonna change the world." I mean, it's like, how can we change it for the better? Let's change the protocols, and that's what we're gonna do with our music. And people like us that have a microphone are more powerful than a lot of businessmen who don't have that same, people uh they love our music, so then they listen to us maybe better, or and our message has to be clear, clean, and very precise at all times.
Well, thank you so much, Ronnie. I think that you absolutely correct on that, because I believe that as an artist, we all also have a responsibility, to share and to care for our planet and everything that is in it. Is not more like we're looking this way and, continue and
Yeah.
destroying a lot of things. But anyway, I want to go back with you. I want to ask you, there is, what do you see in your future? Like right now, from now on, I know that you are doing a lot of projects and things like that. But what do you think that
Yeah.
you want for yourself?
More vacation. I want to travel more. I want to get to Ibiza a lot more. I want to get to the Ukraine. I want to travel the world because the people of the world really, talk about regeneration. When you go and you see how other cultures live and how where, and the Ukraine is really cold. I don't go there in the cold, but I go there when it's really nice, and you're like going, "Wow, this place!" And it, I don't know. People are important. That's all I can say. People are important, and uh, uh, having a clear mind is important. So if we can just share and assist people to have a clear mind, I think we're going in the right direction.
Okay, yes, I think so too. Ronnie, well, I want to ask
Well,
you
great.
one last question. There is, for all the musicians that are there right now, music and recording, it has changed in, eh, to different facets. We have the vinyl, the CDs, the cassette player, the MP3s, digital media. Where do you think that a musician is now, and if someone, or they want to achieve a music career, how they should start, or what are the important things that they should think about?
Well, we live in the best time. Hold on.
Leiden.
Oh my God. Oh no, I was sitting here and I heard.
The monkeys.
Okay, I heard. No, not locust, like a little bigger animal than that.
A tiger.
But anyway, no, maybe a tiger. No, it sounds weird. We have a lot. We have big animals out here.
Oh
Um,
my.
well,
Okay.
this is what I can say to the younger artists and people that just want to further their career, I guess. Um, we live in the best time ever to be a content creator, right? We don't really need the big studios. We have you. We have people like you that can go and pitch our music and pitch our movies and assist us on a personal level. I mean, to get a record deal, it doesn't really matter too much because we can be successful and build our brand without that. Then, if you want to sell it later and it's a much better world. But we are in the best times ever. We get to create our own music. Oh, okay. We get to create our own music. We get to package our own music. We get to create our own brand. We get to do every part of the process we get to do now because of technology, and other like-minded people want to do the same thing. So with that being said, this is what Jerry Heller told me many years ago, and it still pertains to my career today, and I do it religiously. One, get in the car. You know, someone calls you up and says, "Hey, I don't have any money, but I want you to do a song for a soundtrack." Okay, well, you could either go, "Well, hey, since there's no money in it, I'm not going to do it," or you can get in the car, get on the soundtrack. Later on, if it's a nice movie, you're going to get popular anyway. So here we go. Get in the car. 2, keep your mouth shut and keep your head down. So when you're in the car, don't be like, "Hey, I got to get some food. Why don't you guys pull over?" It's like, no one likes that. So you get in the car, keep your head down and your mouth shut. 3, make sure they spell your name correctly on the credits. And 4, collect the check. So it can be any size of check. Maybe it's what you're worth. Maybe it's not what you're worth. You know, the more popular you get, the more you're worth more, whatever. The first record I ever did with Mariah Carey was for a 6-pack and a Swiss Army knife. I mean, right? This was before she was big. Her brother was like producing some music. Years later, she came back, picked me up, and paid me dividends. Like, I'm like, "Really? You're going to pay me that?" She goes, "Ronnie King, you were there, you know." So, 1, get in the car, get on a project, keep working. 2, keep your mouth shut. Don't be so opinionated, like, "Oh, I'm not going to do it if it doesn't meet all of my criteria, you know." 3, make sure they spell your name right. Ronnie, Ronnie, King, King. And then, collect a check. If you can collect big money for it, great. So that's it. And I swear I live by it. And I just, that's how I think young artists can make it.
Well, I think those are amazing tips for everyone, to follow. And thank you for sharing, because this is very important. What you say, like, get in the car. Sometimes artists don't lose opportunities, or they don't know how to recognize the opportunities. And, like you say, if you get in the car, try to be kind with everyone and the environment.
Nice.
No, so well, the third one, they spell your name right,
Name right on
correctly,
the
right?
credits.
And then the fourth one, you collect the amount of check that
Collect
you're worth or you're not, but eventually it's going to
something.
play off to your favor. So I got it right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And that's it. Hey, and you may not collect a check from that particular project, but because it's a popular song, or because you were cool in the other guy's car, maybe there was another guy that was a part of the process. And he goes, "Man, you're cool. I want you to come play on mine. I've got money. I'll pay you." And you end up making more money than what you would have made on the other thing anyway. So uh, it's just a matter of I think those 4 things. I do it still, and that's what I do, really.
Well, thank you so much, Ronnie. Unfortunately, the time is running out, but I would like to for you to share how they can find you. Like, can we have your social media, Instagram, for people can reach out to you?
Sure, sure. My whole bag is Ronnie there it is, RonnieKingOfficial.com. Wow, you're
Yeah.
pro. Look at that. Yeah, Ronnie King Official. And of course you can Google, and basically that's it. I am now a published author. I wrote my first book, and so it's getting put up on all the big platforms, and so you'll be seeing that in the next week or so, or tonight. They said
Ronnie,
it could even
I
be
had
tonight.
to have your book. I had to compromise you. I had to have your book on the How to Hollywood magazine platform. We opened
Okay,
this platform
yeah,
for books, but in what condition? It has to be signed.
okay. I'll sign it and take you to lunch. How's that? I'll
Well,
take
it
you to
sounds
lunch.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
but
yeah,
I want
no.
to read the
Hey,
book.
Gio, I have loved.
But I had to get your book. I must get your book immediately.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's like a workbook. So you read it, it's very easy reading. But when you read it, and then at the end of each chapter, it has blank pages. So you can write your scenario. Like
Oh,
there's one, let's say the fork in the road. Let's just say that was one of the chapters. And it's like, oh, for me, when I was in a fork in the road, I had to do this or I had to do that and how I navigated that. And then after they read it, they can kind of sit with that like, man, am I in a fork in a road right now? Okay, we all basically
I had
are
to
always
ask
in a
you before we go because this about the book is new for me, you know. So, what was your motivation to write the book?
I had this young kid that I've been mentoring and he started writing books, right? And then about 3 years ago, I met a really awesome guy. His name's Dr. Joe Vitelli. He is an influencer. He was in the movie called The Secret, and we met at a Beverly Hills, kind of like a 3 day intentional thought conference. And I was there just to sing some songs. And after everybody had had hours of like all this motivation and stuff, and then I would go and play the piano for him quiet, and everybody just kind of sits there and zones out. And I would perform with other singers. Well, Joe Vitelli really did take me under his wing. And he's like, Ronnie, you got to write the book. So I had two people that were like, write the book, man. You have stuff to say. And then it's just the first, it's the first book. I've
Well,
got
of
another
course.
book. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Hey,
I
look up
can't
Joe
wait. I can't
Vitelli.
wait for that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw. So I believe that I saw a video of you about him, but I didn't know about you being the
Yep.
author. So this is amazing because I think that we need that. Well, I love to read books, and so more when I believe that it's a very interesting topic in it, and I will be discovering something new. So, but I believe it can be very helpful for the audience, for all the musicians, so they can get to read, to have something, to feel motivated. That would be amazing. I must to I need to have that book in our
Well,
Heart of Hollywood magazine library. So anyway, Ronnie,
yeah, I'll deliver it. I'll deliver it personally, and we'll have lunch and we'll hang out like old times. And hey, I gotta say, and then this is just a real simple thing, but I met you through a very beautiful gentleman, Romeo Salas, who passed on this year. And I just want to like, I don't have any liquor, but I just want to uh, just kind of say to everybody, you
we'll
never
cheer for him.
know. Yeah, you never know who you're with or how and whatever, but he was just a great connector. He introduced me to Maricela, so and you as well. So I'm in beautiful company with you, Gio, and I always support everything you do, and I can't wait till we can get on the red carpet again.
No, I can't wait. Did you man's had to play in one of my events, Heart of Hollywood? I've been wanting you to play for long time, I guess now, and hopefully when things start getting open and I can do an event in person because everything I've been doing virtually, but eventually I will start making events in person. And oh man, it has to rock, it has to scream red carpet and entertainment and everything.
Can you imagine when we all get back out with people again? We're I played a show at the beach before I left for Costa Rica. I played a concert on the beach, man, and I was up there. I couldn't control my energy. I was like so happy to play for people again.
Yeah, well, we might look like just like the monkeys in the tree that you were staying.
Hey, I do sing to the monkeys. I do, and I love it, and they listen.
Well, I'm sure that probably they can give you some inspiration back, and then you can continue. Well,
They
Ronnie,
do.
what I can say, I have an amazing time interviewing you. Thank you so much for accepting participate in one more show. Is Thursdays, Guilty by My Own Desires, and I'm blown away by everything that you have shared, and I want to learn more, follow more about your music. I want to read the new book for sure, and the documentary that you are starting, I know is going to be a hit. So best wishes to you. You know, virtual hugs for you and all your team, all the way to Costa Rica. And I guess the about spelling your name right, I guess I did it, so I feel very comfortable because I was about to have a heart
Yes,
attack.
you did.
If I didn't
That
spell
was the
it
first thing I
right.
looked at. Like, hey man, yeah, no, man, you're perfect. You're so detailed oriented. You wouldn't mess that thing up, man.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes I say some things for others, and I try to. My language, my first language is, as you know, not English. So I'm trying my best. And
Right.
one of the things in my inspiration in doing Guilty by My Own Desires was to get over that fear and try to communicate and try to
Oh,
be myself. You know, and it is it's just been wonderful to get to talk with you, to have other guests on the show. And so, you know, but that about what you share at the end about, you know, get in the car, and the second one about keep your head down in a good way. And the other one about
man, keep
spelling
your mouth shut.
your right name. And so I think everything is just gonna move positive and move forward. So anyway, I'm going to tell
That's
the
right.
audience I was here with Ronnie King today. He is a Grammy and Oscar nominated musician. He has a platinum record as well, 2 platinum records. And so, well, no many people can do that. So it's an honor here again for you give us your precious time and being in this show. So I would say bye-bye, and bye-bye to you, Ronnie, and enjoy Costa Rica
Thank
and
you, lovely.
regenerate.
I will.
Regenerate because we need to hear fresh new
Yes.
music. So
Yes.
bye-bye.
Bye, lovely. We'll see you soon.